Hi people, it's me, Anya. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for part 4 of my favorite books with transgender main characters in honor of LGBT plus Pride Month. But I hope that this video serves as a reminder to support transgender people throughout the entire year. I know the future seems bleak and dark for the transgender community, so I hope that these stories serve as a sign of hope and light and just happiness, because transgender people deserve hope and happiness and freedom and the right to exist. So as an ally to the trans community, I hope that these books are for you, and I hope that you feel seen and heard by them, because that's what you deserve. So anyway, without any further ado, the first book on this list is called Always the Almost. This story is a YA contemporary following a young transgender main character who makes a New Year's resolution to win regionals and win back his ex. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. First of all, the queer representation was so lovely, and it was absolutely so wonderful. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The friends to lovers romance was so cute and absolutely so well paced, and I love the two of them so much because their connection as well as their chemistry made so much sense, and I love them dearly. This book is so good, and I really enjoyed it. The characters were all so well developed and so distinct. I'm so excited to read the author's next book, which I believe comes out next year if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, overall this book was so fantastic, and it was really good. So with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Cheer Up, Love, and Pom Poms. This story is a YA contemporary graphic novel following two main characters on a new cheerleading team. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. First of all, the queer representation was so spot on and so well done, and I really enjoyed it. The sapphic friends to lovers romance was so cute, and it was absolutely so adorable because the two main characters connected so well, not just as friends, but also as romantic girlfriends. You know what I mean? Like, I love their romance. It was so cute. Their friendship is so wholesome. I love them so much. This book is so good. The illustrations were so adorable and so pretty. The art is just as pretty as the story itself. Like, this book is so fantastic, and it's so good, and it deserves all its hype and so much more, because it's absolutely so, like, fluffy and good and happy and feel good and silly goofy and just absolutely so amazing and lovely and wonderful, and clearly I loved it a lot. So with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called The Prince and the Dressmaker. This book is a middle grade graphic novel fantasy, and it's so good. It's about a prince and his dressmaker, but it's also about like identity and friendship and being true to yourself. This story is so fantastic, and it's so good, and it's totally worth all of its hype and so much more. First of all, the illustrations were so pretty and absolutely so immersive. Literally, this illustrator is so talented, and so is the author, because the story was so fantastic, and it felt so like wholesome and immersive and intriguing. The plot was so engaging. The characters were so well developed and so distinct, and I love their relationship so much. The queer representation was spot on, top notch, and absolutely so amazing. This book is so good, and it's so happy, and it's so wholesome, and it's absolutely so iconic and so well done, because it's so well developed in literally every single element. You know what I mean? Like, this book is so amazing. So anyway, with all that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called If I Can Give You That. This story is a YA contemporary following a young transgender main character as he is navigating family, friendship, sexuality, and gender identity. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good, and I really enjoyed it. First of all, the friends to lovers romance was so cute and absolutely so lovely. We all know at this point that friends to lovers is absolutely my favorite romantic trope, and this romance was established so well, and it was so good because their chemistry made so much sense. Literally, this book is so amazing. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The queer representation was so well done, and absolutely so fantastic. Like, literally, this book is so awesome. The friendships made so much sense, and they were so lovely. This book is so iconic. I loved the family relationships so much because they felt so authentic and so honest. This book is so good, and it deserves so much more hype. So with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Camp Quilt Bag. This story is a middle-aged contemporary following two young queer teenagers, one of which is a lesbian and the other one is non-binary, as they bond together at a queer summer camp. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. First of all, the setting felt so wholesome and so cute. I wish that I could have gone to this summer camp as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, as a now college graduate, because literally it sounds like it was so much fun and so well done. These two authors work so well together. In fact, I would argue that they work better together than as solo authors, if that makes any sense, because the writing was so good, the characters were so well developed and so good, the friendships were so lovely and so wonderful. Like, this book is so good, and it's so iconic and so well done, and I just really, really enjoyed it. The queer representation felt so, like, authentic and raw and honest, and I just really, really enjoyed this awesome, like, feel-good, silly, goofy, happy, fluffy book. So overall, with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Dear Mothman. This story is a middle-aged contemporary in verse that follows a young autistic transgender main character who is navigating the loss of his best friend. This story is absolutely so fantastic, and it's so good. Like, I love this book so much. I loved the disability representation as well as the trans queer representation because it was so good. And both of the main characters' identities were done so well, and they were both written so well. The plot was so intriguing and so engaging. The free-verse format was so lyrical and so well done. The characters were fantastic and so well developed. The friendships all made so much sense, and I love them so much. This story is so fantastic, and it deserves so much more hype. In fact, I would argue that this story deserves more hype than the author's debut. This book is absolutely so fantastic, and I really, really enjoyed it, literally so much. It's perfect for LGBT Pride Month, as well as Disability Pride Month, which is next month here in the United States. But anyway, the point is, this book is so fantastic, and it's so good. So with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Bianca Tolle is Afraid of Everything. This story is a YA contemporary following a young, non-binary lesbian main character who is trying to solve a murder mystery. This is the only second sapphic book on this list because, unfortunately, I feel like, and I could be wrong about this, trans femme main characters are more underrepresented than trans masc main characters. So anyway, I digress. The point is, this book is so good. I know I talked about it fairly recently in my latest sapphic book recommendation video, so this review may seem rather redundant, but the point is, this book is so fantastic and it's so good, and I really, really enjoyed it. First of all, the queer representation was so authentic, and it's so honest, and it felt so well done. The mystery was so captivating and so intriguing, and absolutely so engaging. The plot was so intriguing. Like, the characters all felt so well developed and so distinct. The sapphic friends to lovers romance was so iconic. The friendships were so lovely and so great. This book is so fantastic, and with that said, I really, really enjoyed it. So with that said, I would definitely highly, highly recommend it. The next book on this list is called Andal and Santi Will Heal. This story is a YA contemporary following a young, non-binary main character who falls in love with an undocumented immigrant. This story is so excellent and emotional and educational, and I really, really enjoyed it. This book is absolutely so fantastic and so good. First of all, the queer representation was so awesome and so casual and so normalized. Like, their romance was so cute and so adorable, and I love them so much. The characters were all so well developed and so distinct. The family dynamics were so authentic and so well done. This book is so amazing, and it's so good and I loved it so much. This book is one of my favorite books of the entire year because I loved it so much, because I absolutely fell in love with these characters as they were falling for each other from the beginning to the end. I love this book so much. It is so iconic. It is so good. I learned so much from this story because this book is so awesome and I love it so much. So anyway, with all that said, I would definitely highly recommend it because everything about this book is perfect. I love it so much. So anyway, like I said, I would definitely highly recommend it. So in conclusion, like I mentioned earlier, to my transgender friends, I will stand with you, I will fight for you, and I will fight with you because you all deserve the world, but the world does not deserve you because all of you deserve so much more freedom and love and hope. So with that said, if you enjoy this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the butterfly emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for watching and subscribe to my channel if you're new, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Happy Pride Month!